What I'm trying to do is educate the public about the difference between a brown, a black, and white Latino. And this is why. Please listen to me carefully. I, as an indigenous person of Mexico, a country filled with indigenous people, but also with white people and some black people. The problem that we have had in these Latin American countries is that when it comes down to nationality, meaning in my particular case, the Mexican, el mexicano es mexicano y ya. No, que raza y color, eso no importa. The Mexican is Mexican. Color, race, that don't matter. We're all Mexican. You want to know how problematic it is to say that? So you mean to tell me, and you and I both know this to be true, when it comes to the Mexican or the Latino representation on the mainstream media, it's predominantly white tea, yes or no?
You mean to tell me if I turn on Telemundo right now, it's all gonna be YT? Every last one of
Yes.
them.
95% of the representation in Latino media is white tea, sir. People that look like you, not like me.
Not ESPN.
Latino media, sir.
Oh. I don't. I can't answer that 100% because I don't watch a lot of
Okay. Well, I
Spanish.
study this. I study this. Okay. I'm telling you, the mainstream representation of the Latino, of the Mexican, is white tea presenting like yourself. Now, let me tell you why this is a problem. Because you see, the conversation that you and I had prior to this was about me identifying you as a white tea Latino and me being a non-white tea Latino, right? And you said, well, Ricardo, you're trying to divide Latinos. Let me explain to you what I'm trying to do. You see, because in Latin America, due to the fact that the mainstream representation of Latin media is the white tea Latino, the black and brown or indigenous do not have a voice, do not have representation. And the way that white tea media and white tea Latinos silence us is when we, as indigenous and black people, say something like, hey, we're being mistreated over here due to our complexion, due to our native languages, etc., we don't have a voice. Then they say, what are you talking about? The Latino does have a voice. But guess what? The Latino looks like you that has a voice. That is the mainstream representation. So this is why it's problematic for people like me that are indigenous and also black in Latin America to identify with the same identity of Hispanic and Latino. Meanwhile, also white people identify with Latino and Hispanic because you are the mainstream representation, meaning it's the white Latino that has the voice. So then what happens to us when the actual brown and black people want to have a voice? We don't have it. And when we say we don't have a voice, us, what you talking about? Latinos have their own channels. But it's the white Latinos. So you see, this is how they suppress our voices. Now, let me ask you, do brown and black people have a different and unique struggle from the white Latinos? Yes or no?
What?
Do you and I have different struggles due to our phenotype, due to the fact that we are different race?
You you can't say that about what you're describing with the light skin and dark skin Latino on
Phenotype.
Telemundo and what
Phenotype.
phenotype on Telemundo, I could agree with. But for you to say that there's no blacks on no TV on CNN
I
or
never said that. We're talking about Latin America. Please don't try to go somewhere else.
you just said blacks.
Excuse me?
You just said blacks.
There's no
You
black people in Latin America?
Okay, 1 second. 1 second. I got confused. So you're saying black Latinos. Black
Yeah.
Okay, what's your question now? Okay, we're just talking about Latino. Okay.
Yeah, Latinos, black people are Latinos too.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I was
Let
confused.
me ask it again.
What was go ahead, go.
Are you telling me that the black and brown people in Latin America don't have their own unique struggles comparing to the white T Latinos of Latin America?
How am I supposed to answer that if I never been to Latin America?
Perfect. So now you see, you want to claim a Latin American country that you're from, and you've never even been to one. You don't know the struggle of the brown and black people in these Latin American countries enough to even have a say so in what's going on in those countries. I was born there
Where were you born?
in Mexico.
Okay, so you're telling me in Mexico there's no people that look like you on TV over there in Mexico?
No, they're in the background mowing white tea people's lawns, maids, but the white tea ones are the ones who are all up in the center, the representation.
I don't believe that.
And this is the problem with white tea Latinos.
No,
When brown people want to share our struggle, what we go through, white tea people say, we don't believe you. Well, goddamn, who would you believe then?
I'm not saying there's not no struggles, but you saying there's nobody of your complexion
Of
on
my phenotype.
on any news in Mexico. It doesn't exist.
We do not have a proper representation.
Okay, now you see, now you changed it. Now you say you don't have the proper
We don't have
representation.
a proper representation. Listen. So let me explain what that means. So if any time and every time that indigenous presenting people, people that look like me, are on TV and they're always in very degrading places and positions, like a maid, like inferior positions. What do you think it does for people like me growing up watching that the only thing that we can be as indigenous presenting people is maids and servants? Meanwhile, we look at TV and we see all the people that look like you. You're all the superior positions. What do you think it does to our psyche? What do you think it does?
You're gonna tell me. I could
Now,
assume.
now with that said,
I could assume. I don't know. I can't. I mean, I could.
okay, assume.
I could make an. I could make an. I could make an hypothesis. An hypothesis
Come on,
is an
do it.
educated guess.
Do
That's
it.
that's the only
Do
thing I
it.
can do. Now I don't have a study to make an hypothesis, so it's going to turn into an assumption. See that?
Okay,
Now,
so instead of an assumption, why don't you ask an actual person of that particular background that has experiences so he can tell you what it's like?
go ahead. What it keeps you grounded. It keeps
It's
you
degrading. It's degrading. It makes you
great.
feel like you're only worth that much. And if you are only worth that much, you're going to feel inferior. You're going to feel insecure, low self-esteem, and you're going to
Absolutely.
look up to white tea people and look down on your own people. That's what happens. So you see, you said, "Oh, Ricardo, you just said there is no representation. Representation. Now you said there isn't proper." Yes, there is some of us on television. We are in positions of inferiority, sir. You know what that does to us. And therefore, that's why I say we need our own voices. So if I say that we as brown people of Latin America, we need our own identities that white tea people can also not identify with. In this particular case, you as a white tea presenting person, you claim to be a Latino and Hispanic. So how can I claim to be the same thing? If you are not only you and I are two different races, two different lineages, but we have an exclusive and different struggle. Therefore, if you claim to be Latino, you claim to be Hispanic, and when you open your mouth, you represent the Latino, you represent the Hispanic. But guess what's the problem with that? You don't represent me. But unfortunately, you will, because you represent the Latino and the Hispanic voice. But you cannot speak for me, but you do. And that's problematic. We, indigenous people, black people, Latin America, we need our own voices. Therefore, we need our own identities. So when I go out of my way to say there is a difference between the brown and black people, Latin America, and the white tea ones, this is not dividing, bro. This is acknowledging that we're different and we need our own voices. We need our own representation because we, unfortunately, as brown and black people of Latin America, we have been represented by white tea people. You are our voice. And you can't anymore. We can't allow that anymore. You take this as hate. I'm
Not
taking this.
listeners.
We need to take care of ourselves. We need to convince our people to take care of us. This has been our detriment, sir.
Nicely worded. I'm not gonna. I was taken aback at first, and I was a little flabbergasted when you was attacking me. But I don't
I
feel
never
you was
attacked
attacking.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not today. Not today. Not
I
today.
called
Not
you
today.
YT and you took that
Not
as an
not
attack.
not today. Not today. Today we had a good back and forth somewhat. But I will say I was educated, and now I got to do a couple of things on my end. Okay, okay. Now here's go. I let you talk, Ricardo. Now let me get the
Come
floor.
on.
I came here today because I thought I was educated enough, and evidently I'm not. It's very one sided with the educational part and what's going on. You know a little bit more because you lived in South America, Mexico, and you lived here. I haven't, so you got that experience, and you're an educated young man. So you also have that. Now I'm gonna do my due diligence on myself and who I am, right? And then I'm going to come back and I'm also going to do an ancestry. Right now, this is not a debate. This is a teacher teaching a grown man, but I could be the student. I could be humble at times, and that's fine. That's fine. Here's what I'm saying. I'm going to come back. Now, when I come back, I'm coming back like, what's that guy's name? Shonov. And when I come back to this conversation, it's gonna be no pun intended, but it's gonna be night and day. Okay? I'm a little bewildered because I don't know who the fuck I am right now. If you're saying what you're saying is all true, then I gotta find out who I am because my whole life nobody even told me this. Every application I filled out, what are you? What are you? I gotta have knowledge of self. You know, I gotta find out. I got a kid. I gotta let him know who he is because this is a little it's a little too much right now. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I understand.
Today was a good one, but I'm gonna come back because I thought I was coming with facts and I came with fiction and I wasn't prepared. But I'm gonna come back and then we'll circle back. I'm gonna go do what I gotta go do. Just let me back up when it's time.
You're always
Okay.
open because it's my opportunity when you come up as a white tea Latino who
Okay.
has your type of views and your stance. It's my opportunity to educate and bring awareness. Trust me, I enjoy this a little too much.
All right. No problem. Thank you, big boss.
All right, man.